Hello, welcome back if you're a current subscriber. Welcome if you're new. So my first video of 2025 officially, I believe the first video I posted of the year was the price per ounce. So again, that was just simple black and white video of posting that. Now, obviously, I know there's lots of details that go into price breakdown. I was just sharing price per ounce if you care about that. But there was a lot of good feedback in there with just people talking about, yes, that matters, but other things matter too. And that was the whole point of that video, really, was just, does that matter to you? Do you think about shipping? Because that can add then to the price per ounce if somebody is charging way more than another vendor. So there's lots of things that go into that. And I do understand that. A few people that posted that Melting Memories is a Canadian vendor. I'm very aware of the fact that in the US, yes, we do have a lot of vendors and Canadians don't. I'm just simply sharing, if you buy in the US, these are vendors that I have had or purchased from. This is their price per ounce. It is not to go after any vendor in particular. It was just to share simple facts. It is not about anything else than that. So I just want to make that very clear. I know I missed some. Yummer's Delight. Oh my gosh, there's so many now. I'm going to draw a blank. I can actually look. But again, I did miss some, and thank you for sharing. If you commented in the comments about price per ounce of different vendors that I did forget. Oh, Empire Alchemy. Like, there was several that I forgot because maybe I don't currently have any items. The Melted Moose isn't pouring right now. Obviously, she's a favorite vendor of mine in the first video I ever posted on YouTube. Sugar Melts by Stacy. I still have a few items, and I couldn't find pricing very well, so I sat there for like 5 minutes looking on the website. She hasn't had a current restock again, so I really didn't know her current price per ounce, so I just didn't post that. Again, this isn't excluding or trying to be exclusive to vendors. There's so many amazing vendors, and again, I'm very aware that there are different things that go into price per ounce. I just simply want to share simple what I have, what is the price per ounce, because that is making me think going into 2025, who am I purchasing from? So, and today Lavender and Speckles had their pre-order. I didn't purchase because this is why. Now, so I shared, this was only one part of the video, was price per ounce. Okay. So then the other thing I did the other night was I wanted to go over my thoughts and goals for 2025, okay? Yes, I do have a YouTube channel, so obviously I'm still going to make purchases because I want to review and share those. That being said, if you have a new vendor you'd like me to try that I don't currently have, or you haven't seen me do a review, let me know in the comments and I will certainly look at them based on all of the things I'm talking about. So I still am going to purchase, and especially a few new ones, to review and share my thoughts with you. But here is what I was doing this week. So between life and work and things like that, I went through and counted items. Now, I didn't count samples because a lot of times I give those away to several of my friends that buy Scentsy, but they're kind of getting into vendors, so I will pull samples and just share those. Because I just really, unless there's something I feel like, oh, I really wanted to warm that, but generally I give away samples. Or I save those for D-stashes, and I put those in the D-stash items that I sell. Now, this does not include items that I'm going to D-stash because my intention is to not have those, okay? So I literally went through in my lovely I need to expel these items, but Excel spreadsheet, and counted things. That's all I did, just simple counting. So whether that's a shape bag or a loaf, doesn't matter the size. I just wanted to know how many pieces I have. So I don't know that I'm going to share my total piece count on Scentsy or vendor. I'm just going to be honest with you, but I'm going to share that I did count every item. And then I obviously totaled that I had to Google how to do that because I'm not an Excel spreadsheet expert. Like, I know how to use it. I've gotten better through the years working as a school nurse, and in my current clinic position, I use Excel more. So I'm getting a little better with things. Okay, so I totaled those up, but here's what I was really looking at. Was there vendors that were over a certain amount, whether that's 50, or was there more vendors that I had that had more than 100 items, okay? And then I looked at that, and maybe I will share like some split screen and share some of that and how I did my spreadsheet. But so I went through them and I really looked at them, and then I wrote in the next section. So I have vendor, total, item, and then goal. So in 2025, what is my goal? Like, what do I want to get that number to? Because I will give you an example that lavender and speckles was 107. So as soon as I saw that number, that just really was like, that's ridiculous. So I'm not picking on anybody. Again, please, when I share things, it's not to personally hurt people's feelings. I'm just sharing information, simple facts. So when I looked at that, I said to myself, what is a goal? So I wrote my goal down. I said I want it to be under 40. Okay, so that was my goal for 2025. So that means I can't be ordering because I need to get it more reasonable. And then I'm going to show you this third piece of this. Okay, so the first thing was like, I want to break down price per ounce for ordering in 2025. Second thing was I wanted to go and count my pieces and then give myself a reasonable goal with these numbers. Okay, another one, because I don't want to pick on one vendor, obviously, is L3 Waxy Wonders. I was surprised, but not surprised, like, because we thought she was closing and then they ended up selling the business, that I counted my items and then my scoops. So based on that total, I said I want it to be under 25. Now it is, what did I have? 89 items between the scoops and the wax pieces. Now, again, remember that could be a small piece or it could be a loaf. I'm not distinguishing that. I'm just saying, because that takes up room. And again, like, I just was counting simple items. Again, not samples, but loaves, souffles, bougie bars, whatever L3 has. Okay. So mini loaves, whatever it may be. I was like, okay, these are how many pieces I have. So for scoops, I said I want to be under 20. And then for items under 25. Now, again, L3 is on my list of no purchase, no buy until it is under that number, because I purchased planning for like 2 years, 3 years. So I will not be purchasing from L3 at any point. I have turned off notifications. Like, I'll go at the end over what things I've been doing to make sure I'm not seeing those items, or like be aware of those restocks because of this. So, because I feel like if there was better communication and we were told, I think so many of us wouldn't have stockpiled items. But because that communication wasn't there, I feel bad, but I'm not going to. I have to be able, like, even though I feel bad, like, I would love to support the new owners because I think that's great that they took over. I also am not just going to impulse buy everything. So L3 is absolutely on my no purchase list for 2025 and moving forward until I can get it under that number. Does that mean like lavender and speckles? I'm going to try really hard to not purchase unless there's, like, she does customs. I think that will be, if I can get on customs, that will be when I purchase, because I really have found out things I like. And the only way I can be sure that I can get those is probably through customs. So yeah. And again, going off of this count. So then let me go through my next one that I have limits with. Rose Girls. So my limit is under, because I had 98 items. And again, that's bags, that's muffins, that's stars, doesn't matter what it is. But those are the 3 items. Oh, and I have a few loaves, because she doesn't do loaves often, but I do have a few loaves. So I said under 50 because I feel like that's reasonable for the amount, the number. Again, I could have just said half of that, but I just said under this amount, then I can order. And the only caveat to Rose Girls for me is there's a couple scents that I'm out of or have asked for multiple times. And if then she has those in a pre-order or restock, I will only be allowed to purchase those set items, which is on when I shared my, Michelle's Shop Mini Moments from Canada. She has that list that I asked her to help me create for repurchasing by vendor. And if that is on that item, then I will consider it, but only for certain vendors. Okay, Super Tarts. Now, Super Tarts is tough because she doesn't always do restocks or of items that you want. And then she doesn't generally, her pre-orders, we're never really sure when she's going to do those. So I said I have 81 items and I would like to go under 40. So for 2025, that's not reasonable. Then I can repurchase. That means I have to use at least that many items, and before I can even look at her page. So again, there's not really anything on my list that I need from Super Tarts. And just because things are so inconsistent, well, I guess that's just what it is. You know, I have to be mindful in 2025. And I'm only sharing the ones that I have caveats to because the other vendors that I have are not high numbers where I had to take a big look at myself and say, oh dear Lord, what have you done? Okay, let me look if there's any others. Okay, and then Dessa's gonna be here's my caveat in cheating the rules with Dessa's is I want to keep it under 50, but I am going to purchase from her pre-order this month because so last year she moved and so we didn't have a lot of pre-orders. So I stocked them on a few items, but here's why I want to order from Dessa's because she does these custom mini loaves or large loaves. And for me, again, when we talked about price per ounce and we talked about I didn't talk about the other caveats. Dessa's does those custom mini loaves. So for me, that's the bonus in it. Like she's got these great blend scents, but I can mix them and make customs when she opens. So that's why I'm going to order from Dessa's this month. And when I was looking at who am I going to order from, it would be Dessa's and Teddy Bees this month. I assume Teddy Bees will open this month. Generally, she does a pre-order in January. So I'm going to order from those two. That's it. Those are my two pre-orders, okay? Unless I consider adding a new to me vendor in January, depending on availability and things like that. So that would be my only two that I would purchase from with the caveat of I pick a new to me vendor and try each month in 2025. Now, again, when I order from new vendors, I will keep it around $30, max of $50, because I want to make sure the wax performs in my home. And then I give my reviews at the end of my haul because I want to share how it performed for me and in my space. So I do my new to me vendors differently because I don't want to share some new vendor without giving you an update. So that's just how I do it personally. So those are my caveats to ordering. Now I will say I'm not going to give you my Teddy Bees number because I don't want to. And but I didn't even put a limit under what number for Teddy Bees. Well, Teddy Bees is probably now Sassy Girl, I will tell you that I don't have a bunch left from Sassy Girl Aroma anymore, obviously with her being closed the last year. She is going to open, I assume, in January sometime. She has on her banner. I'll get back to Teddy Bees, sorry, squirrel. But Sassy Girl Aroma, I have 58 items. I shouldn't say, and let me say that I just said I didn't have a lot, but a lot of those are sample, or not sample, but when we went to the store, she had different smaller sizes. And so I have those items, and those are, again, counted in that total, whether it's a brittle, a loaf, or a smaller. She has these small bars, or she had shapes, things like that for Sassy Girl. So I would like to keep it under a certain amount, but the other thing in that is that I am going to order in January. So I guess she is included, but the reason why I didn't solidify that I would order from her in January is because if that date gets pushed back. So that's the reason why I kind of said Dessa's and Teddy Bees. Sassy Girl will be the other because what if for some reason that date gets pushed back into February? So because it says to be determined, I don't know the exact date. When Sassy Girl Aroma does list a date, and a list, I will post that under my community tabs. And I probably will do a video because a lot of you are not on Facebook and asked me to let you know. So please check out my posts under the community, and I will post all of that information there. And I will possibly, depending on when she releases the list and when she posts the pre-order, or when those two occur, like when she posts her list, if there's enough days that I can do a video, I will go through the video, or I will do a video on the list and let you know if I've had those items and what I plan on ordering. So Sassy Girl's that one that's kind of a caveat. So I do have plans in January. I know I'm trying to limit things, but it's hard when some of those vendors don't open often enough. So it does make it that you kind of want to get in there. I think it's why I didn't feel like I need to order from some of these other vendors, because they do pre-orders very often. And I'm kind of like, well, if I can't get it this month, they'll, a lot of Rose Girls, Lavender and Speckles, L3, like all of them do frequent enough RTSs or pre-order that I'm not like, oh, I need to order. No, I'm kind of losing that because it's like, I really, because of what I have in my collection, I just feel like I'm becoming a little bit more picky about certain things. I want, like, for Dessa's, I love the availability of being able to do those customs. And then for Teddy B's, she does a lot of perfumes now. I've been seeing she's been doing, I did order from her RTS, and a lot of those that I got were the limited ones, and a lot of those are perfume dupes. So she's been doing a lot of that lately, as well as she just really, her level of blending is amazing. But Sassy Girl's Bakery, I love, as well as her Beach Night blends. So that's why I'm really excited about Sassy Girl. And like I said, Dessa's wax does amazing. And I love doing custom bakery items with her. So those are why those are in my 3 for January. Now, so I think that's it as far, because I really looked at this and picked the vendors that I had the most of and what are my goals going into 2025. Now, the rest of the vendors, there wasn't, like, their numbers aren't higher on these lists because I have been working on warming them and not buying from them. Although I love these vendors that I shared with you, it is nothing against anybody, but it is also that I have to be, you know, a grown up and think about those things. If you're going into 2025 with goals as well, then maybe we can support each other and encourage each other. Okay, and then, so this is my little Post-it, lame Post-it. I love Post-it. So here's my goal for January for my melting basket, and maybe I will share a video of what I pulled. So for my upstairs and downstairs, this was what I decided. For Dessa's, I want to do 10 upstairs and 10 downstairs. Now, these are going to be a lot of numbers. Does that mean I think I'm going to get through 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 76, 82, 92 items? I don't know that. I did look at my numbers I kept a list from last year of my empties for each month. Some months I did hit certain numbers like that, and some months I did not. Now, I also want to make sure I'm warming my Scentsy and enjoying it, and using my candles as well, because I enjoy all of those things. Right now, I'm just talking about vendors specifically. But I did go through my Scentsy, and that one has to be, like, I'm going to be very specific about ordering from Scentsy in 2025 as well. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that as well, because I just, yeah, that one, it's hard because as a consultant, you want to order the launches, which I do, but now I'm going to be like, okay, I'm just going to order, like, I'll do another video because I have how I'm going to plan for that in 2025 as well. My goal for January is, with Dessa's, I said 10. So I pulled items and then divided them up between downstairs and upstairs. So this is about 90 some items that I said. So I just pulled those items and then I split them between upstairs and downstairs. L3 is just wax, not scoops. I said 10. Again, I'm dividing that between the two. I did give myself a few more, like I might have pulled 6 or 7 for one space, depending on if I feel like I can warm, like if it's a smaller shape, because remember, I only counted, even if it was a shape or a loaf. I didn't pull a lot of loaves, to be honest. I think I pulled more of the bags or shapes. So L3 was 10. And then for L3 scoops, I said anywhere from 5 to 10. And I divided those up between, again, upstairs and downstairs. Lavender and speckles, I said 16. Now, I have no idea why I grabbed this number. I just was like, I think I was just counting on, like, what have I worn before in previous months, or what is my plan or goal? So why the heck did I get 16? I don't know. I was doing this really late one night. I think it's because I thought, well, I would do more than 5, but not 10. So 8 and 8, and I probably pulled a few more, and I already did pull my basket, so I probably will share those with you. So I said 16. So I pulled more of like her small bags, and that was kind of what I was going to do upstairs and downstairs. Rose Girls was 16. Now, again, it could be any shape, or it could be bag or whatever. I just want to do, again, I'm splitting those up between the two. The reason why I picked more of those two vendors specifically was because those two had higher numbers. I'll tell you one vendor I didn't include in this at the end. Sassy Girl Aroma, I said 10 because, again, I'm going to be purchasing when she reopens. So I thought, okay, I need to be very specific about pulling items and what I'm warming. Because you guys, some months I was looking last month and I looked at like what vendors I was warming and it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't really pull a lot of Sassy Girl. And the month before I didn't. So I was like, why are you not doing that? And I think it's just because I get into this caveat of just pulling certain vendors and then I'm just like, you don't grab the other ones. So because I want to get those numbers down and I looked at who are my highest item numbers in my collection, then I was like, okay, I'm only going to pull from those. And if I want to pull a random one, I do have in my closet downstairs, I have a bedroom melt basket that I pull and I warm that in my bedrooms or in the laundry room. I'll use those scents in those two spaces. And then I have a separate bin for bakery items that I will, because that's what I love to warm my open concept or upstairs. So I still have those baskets where there's going to be other vendors that I want to warm based on dates or whatnot that I might pull from that. So I'm not limiting myself only to those. If I am not in the mood for any of those scents, then I will pull other items. So Sassy Girl is 10. Super Tarts is 10. Now, again, because some of these vendors on my no-buy list, until I get them under those numbers, then I thought, okay, in a few months, I will really make headway on those vendors, which is a huge thing for me. And then I did put Scentsy in here. So I said 10 bars. So that's kind of my plan. And I've already warmed like probably that already. I probably have warmed half of that so far between my upstairs and downstairs and laundry room. So again, these are like the goal, but I'm hoping to hit over these. And now I will tell you that Teddy Bees is not on this list because Teddy Bees is just, I have this tote downstairs that I pull ones that I want to warm based on now season. So in my dresser, I have spring, summer, and I have fall, winter. So I pull from those, go first look at what ones do I want to warm during the season, and then what ones are the oldest ones, because obviously I want to be mindful of warming. I want to be mindful of making sure I am using up older wax from any vendor. So that's why some of them I might have pulled, like, again, when I pulled from Dessa's, I was pulling some of those older scents, but also ones that I enjoy for the season. So I have this tote, or it's actually a nice basket downstairs that I have those items for bedroom, bathroom, laundry room, open concept in there. And then whenever I want to pull from there, I'm just going to pull. Now, I really should put Teddy Bees in January on that number, but I'm not going to, only because this month specifically, I was like, I want to try to see those specific vendors go down, and maybe in February I'll just do Teddy Bees or primarily Teddy Bees with less numbers from the other ones. Again, I can't keep ordering from the vendors or these numbers will not go down. Now, I know with specifically, I said the vendors that I'm okay with purchasing is Dessa's, Teddy Bees, and Sassy Girl Aroma. Those are, Sassy Girl is unsure because what if it doesn't fall in January and it ends up going into February? So that one I wasn't really sure on. So I think going forward, I'm going to be like, okay, which, again, each month I'll make a decision on who I'm going to be purchasing from. If you guys enjoy this video and you want me to do this at the beginning of each month and share my baskets as well, I will certainly be happy to do that for you. So this is just kind of how my brain is working going into 2025. I think there comes a moment, and maybe with age too, that I'm just like looking at things and just being like, okay, overconsumption. I don't want to be that person that is buying everything and not able to use what I'm purchasing. Even with like Bath and Body, I was like, oh, they have soaps on sale for the semi-annual sale. And then I went and was like, okay, we do use a lot of soap in a family of 7 in this house. But I was like, right now, I don't need to. It'll be on sale in a couple months. And then if I'll order it then. So I just had to talk myself out. Like, you have plenty of body care. You have plenty of shower gels. And I don't have a ton, because we are a family of 7 and we do go through those items, but I went and looked and counted and I was like, no, we'll be good for like 6 months. So I'm not not on the soap end, but on the body care items. So I just really had to, again, counting those items really puts it into perspective, because you really are like, oh, I don't have that much. And then when I go count them and you're like, I have over 100, bags or items from Lavender and Speckles, and I really, honestly, I can tell you, I really was like, oh, it's probably like 40 items. And then when I counted it, I was like, oh, okay. Like, that was where I was like, you cannot, you can't. But I know I have a YouTube channel, so I am going to still be purchasing, because that is what my channel is. But I'm also going to be adding other items. Like I recorded a video of my Trend Mood box, and I did a video on Crumble, and Dubs, like working with Walmart. I did that. I ordered a bunch of that. I'm going to post a video on that. So also just including other items. And if you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. Because again, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to just buy so I get views. I made this channel so we can enjoy things. And yes, I do love purchasing and hauling. I have outstanding orders with Teddy Bees from her RTS that she did. I have an order from Kringle candles. I have an order from Goose Creek candles, which is quite large, because actually, instead of ordering from Bath and Body, Kringle had so many great deals, and they have so many amazing candles, and I've just really been enjoying their candles. So I decided to purchase with them versus Bath and Body for the sale. So that one is coming. I think I have a Scentsy order. Oh yes, I do have a Scentsy order, because I ordered on the 1st. And then Scentsy has some items launching in a couple days that I will be purchasing, but I won't go like, oh, I'm going to order how many of this? No, I'm going to order some bars, but maybe a couple, not as many. So I'm trying to be mindful in 2025. Again, thank you for watching the videos and commenting and sharing your feedback on the price per ounce. Again, my goal is never to be offensive to anyone, but again, facts are facts, numbers are numbers, and I'm going to share that. The only thing the feedback that I got about the Canadian vendor is, I know there's obviously duties and fees and all that kind of stuff. My intent is not to be rude to anybody or any vendor in particular. Again, I was just kind of going through what I had and what I could remember, and it was a lot, as you saw on this list. This is a ton of vendors that I pulled anyway. So I'm going to make mistakes or miss people, or things like that. But again, that's not the only thing that matters. We can get into customer service, scents, the complexity of their blends, availability, again, whether that's a Canadian vendor or a US. I say those two because we're obviously close neighbors. But the performance, the presentation of the wax. Do you like glitter or not glitter? Some people buy from some vendors because of that, and some others for not, because they don't want glitter in there. So there's all these different things that go into more than just the price per ounce. So I'm very well aware of that. Like, I know there's a lot of things that go into that. I'm not a vendor. I don't make that wax. And my intent is not to sway people to order from somebody or not. Like, you spend your coin how you want to spend your coin. I'm just sharing simple black and white facts of price per ounce. Now, I will say as well, since I'm on this topic, that I Heart Wax is doing a pre-order, I think on the 14th of this month, if I'm remembering correctly. But she also mentioned she's changing her price. I want to say $1.50 to $1.60 per ounce. And that I saw after my video was posted, so there was nothing really I could do to change that. So again, if things change, I posted in that video, that was at the time of recording on December 29th, I believe it was. That was what the current information I had. And I knew going into 2025, that could very well change with vendors. I mean, Lavender and Speckles increased her prices last year. Rose Girls did it a couple years ago. I could be missing lots of people. I'm not an expert. I'm just a consumer. I could be considered an expert in lactation, for nursing, or as a nurse in OB, but I'm not an expert in vendor wax. I'm not an expert in how they break things down. I'm simply sharing what facts I had. So again, I hope that my video did not offend anybody specifically, because that is of course not my intent. I just wanted to share that, because maybe going forward in 2025, you are looking at this when you're saying, okay, so I told you I'm going to order from Dessa's. So her price per ounce is $1.59. And then I said Teddy B's is $1.60 up to $1.80, depending on the fragrance oil she uses. And then Sassy Girl Aroma is $1.70 for brittles. And then I think her loaves were a little bit cheaper. Well, loaf is $1.53. So I'm getting off on a tangent, but you do you. Stay in your lane. Don't get offended by what other people think or feel. If you're happy in your life, you do whatever the heck you want. You want to keep ordering, you do whatever you want. Whatever brings you joy, please do it. Life is short. Life is really hard. I've had a lot of crap going on. Holidays are tough for me. Life isn't always easy, but whatever brings you joy, you do whatever you want in this big world. And I am happy and I support you, and whoever you buy from, whatever you put in your life, or whatever brings you joy. Life is just short and we all struggle, and sometimes things like wax do bring me joy when I'm struggling. And again, there's just lots in my life, and I just hope you find joy. And with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day. Bye.